Hoborg awoke, for real, and was horror-stricken because he saw something far away, and it was growing less and less far away with every minute. At first he thought it was the clawed creature coming back to get him, but as it got closer he could see that it was much bigger than a dirt clod. A short while passed before Hoborg could make out the shape. It was a piece of land with a little red-roofed house on it. There was a big robot and a little being on it. Hoborg realized that these folks would pass him if he did not act quickly, so he took off his belt from around his waist and made a lasso. He figured that it was still not long enough to reach this passing landmass, so in an act of desperation he gouged a chunk of his chest out and rolled it into a great snake that extended the end of his belt. This contraption was long enough to lasso the land, which halted when the cord went taut. The big robot pointed to Hoborg's chest and said, "Me Bill! Me Bill!" Hoborg waved and answered, "Me Hoborg. I am Hoborg." The smaller being, slightly smaller than Hoborg but 1/5 the size of Bill, pointed to Hoborg's chest and said, "Me think him's pointing your torso. Big ouch." Hoborg had not realized that his guts were oozing out of the large fissure that he had created in his chest. Good Quater, what am I going to do? The small being took off his own belt and instructed Bill to carry him down to where Hoborg was. The being jumped into Bill's hand and walked over to where Hoborg sat, about to pass out. "Me Willie," the stranger said, as he tied his belt over Hoborg's chest, clamping the severed sections together and closing the self-inflicted injury. Hoborg placed his hand on Willie's shoulder. "Hello, Willie. I am Hoborg, and you just saved my life." Willie did not seem to acknowledge this statement. Hoborg figured Willie was not altogether sane, but he was grateful just the same. After a few days of rest, Hoborg decided it was best to continue on his journey. Hoborg asked Bill and Willie if they wanted to join him. Bill just said, "Me Bill, me Bill," and Willie mumbled a bunch of gibberish to himself. Hoborg liked their company, but he figured that they did not want to come along, so he tearfully said goodbye. Hoborg was surprised to find that when he walked, Bill and Willie followed him. Hoborg did not question them. He just grew happy inside and continued toward the clay. Big Robot Bill, Hoborg found out his full name because it was engraved on the back of his foot, proved most useful for carrying Willie and Hoborg and the little red-roofed house over canyons too steep to climb. Hoborg noticed, while being carried by Big Robot Bill, that Bill's chest had a switch inside it, marked good at the present setting and bad on the other setting. Hoborg dared not find out what the bad setting did, but he thought it must be a poorly thought-out attempt at dealing with the same problems he had when he was planning the making of beings that were capable of doing right and wrong.